Okay, I know what you're thinking. This this doesn't look good. I woke up today and Bitcoin crashed 10%. I had a bunch of messages of people asking me, well, what do we do here? Can you give us your thoughts? So I'm going to make a video going through my methodology, why I pulled my money from Bitcoin before we had this crash. I didn't short, in case you're wondering. I wasn't in any long positions though. So while I didn't make any money off this, which there was plenty of money to make here, I didn't make any. So I'm just gonna just run you through my methodology here, and we're gonna go step by step. And the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna use the bar replay mode here. So I'm taking away the crash. There we are. So where do we start from here? Where do we start from here? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to plot our key levels. And first, you got to plot your support and resistance and then your trend lines on your chart, on your price chart, and then we're also going to do the same for Wolfpack real quick. We're going to do it on multiple time frames as well. So we're starting out with the macro, at least the 3 or 4 hour. I really recommend that people have a solid understanding of the macro. So we have our resistance at around 60,000 here. This is the first line. If you're just doing this now, we had a lot of resistance here at this line. And if we zoom out, let's go to the 12 hour, you can see this ascending triangle on the 12 hour. So since around February, we've been respecting this line. So we're going to draw that in. This is a key level. I mean, this is the 12-hour chart. We're zoomed out very far. We have a broad understanding of the trend that we're seeing, and we have our resistance here. And when we broke out of it, Bitcoin went from around 61,000 to 65,000. So these were some massive gains. And as soon as we came and touched this triangle, we skyrocketed. We broke through the resistance. So let's go to the 3-day, because there's one more important factor to consider here. And what we should be drawing in is this line too. We have these two ascending lines. Let's just make sure that that's drawn in correctly. It looks about good. So on the 3-day, we can see it clearly. If you're a trader who's not trading and using the macro, then this is as good as a time as any to start. Now, I just want to bring your attention to this. We have bearish divergence. This was at the end of March when we had our last pullback. So on the 3-day, we've actually been coming down. And we had a little bit of green here, but on the 3-day, this hasn't printed yet, this downwards triangle. If this prints, then we would anticipate this wave to come down, and we would, of course, draw on our resistances here. If this prints, then we're looking for short opportunities, and especially if price falls below this line, which I believe I should make it even more significant. Let's make it thicker. Let's make it red. Here, let's make it as thick as we can go. That is our bull run. This is the support for our bull run on the 3-day. Yes, yeah, you could plot in this resistance or this support. This is very critical. But if we fall through this red line, then this is the only thing that's really keeping us afloat here. So these levels, let's even make this even thicker. So let's make this blue and thick. Okay. Key levels. Now let's start zooming in. Let's go back to the 3-hour. Okay. So you can see where our critical red line is. You can see that very clearly. We have a clear understanding. We also have our more short-term uptrend ascending wedge here. And now if we zoom in even further, let's go to the 1-hour. Okay. So on the 1-hour, now we start to see this. Let's make this line thin because we're on the 1-hour. This is a little bit less, this is still significant because it's the 1-hour, but it's not as significant as some of the thicker lines that we drew in from the 3-day, the 12-hour. The 1-hour is just going to be proportional. Okay, so we have this downward sloping line, and if we cross above it, then we could look for a retest on it. So if price came up, it might retest, and then we might continue upwards after that. So let's draw in a few other lines before we see what ended up happening. And it's not as easy to spot on the 1-hour. On the 3-hour, maybe we could spot this line. Right. Back to the 1-hour. All right, so we're at an important cross. We are at a convergence point. So we would expect this level to be a key area on the charts. Let's see what happened. So let's go forward. Okay, looks like we're below our convergence line. We've got, on the 1-hour, we've got resistance coming down here. So we know that there are barriers to a breakout. And we're just going to continue. Looks like this could be good. This could be good. Actually, this line could be drawn a little bit better. All right, there. So we're testing. We're testing right now. Continuing. There we go. All right. So this line bounced off exactly. So, well, that doesn't seem good. Where we would expect to bounce. well, hopefully at this purple line, this has been a support. We fell through it here. And when we fell through it, we came up to test it one more time and fell, although we pushed through. So the buyers were not exhausted yet. They were not exhausted yet. Continue. And there's our bounce. There's our bounce, right? Okay. All right. Well, here, this was our last swing low, so you could treat that as a support line. Let's make it a very weak support line. Let's make it thin. All right. This is where your stop loss would be, right? If you're in a long, we're close to a stop loss. And if you're really in a long, like if you're really holding, then your stop loss is going to be here, right? Because this upwards line that's been holding since April, we're for sure not going below that. So that's where your stop loss is going to be. So let's press play. That's where your stop loss is, right? Everyone's stop loss got hit. Everyone's stop loss got hit. Keep in mind, I just drew this line in blind, right? I drew this line in just using these data points. So that's an important thing to consider. And it was here at this convergence point where we failed it that I felt like I didn't want to open along. I wanted to see this resistance break out. I didn't want to trade if we were going into a descending triangle here. It happened way quicker than I thought. I thought we were going to get one more test because we were coming up here. We were really, like, we looked like we were coming up and that we were going to test this one more time, and maybe, just maybe, we would have succeeded. So that's what was going through my head. And let's go back to real time. So I'll tell you my thoughts for where we're at currently. On the 30-minute, let's drop down to the 24. So we got our bullish divergence here, and we're starting to creep up, but we got this one resistance here, and that's where we're at now. And the important thing to note here is we might see institutions buying the dips, but you're not going to see massive breakouts. I mean, if you're lucky enough to buy in here at 51, like $51,000, and then Bitcoin just shot up to 56,000, congratulations. Comment down below. You had a good day today. But for the rest of you, we've got this ascending wedge going on. We're right at the cusp. We're right at the cusp. So if we break down below, then obviously price needs more time to consolidate. I wouldn't say it's a bear market. I would just say that this is typical behavior of Bitcoin. At this red line, if we drop below that, then I would start to get concerned. And for sure, if we drop below, this blue support line here at $40,000, I think that I don't think we're going to go there. But if we did, then yeah, I would be bearish. So this red support line here, we came so close. We came so close that that is a like a 300 point difference on the bottom of this dump, just based on the macro. Just based on the macro. So I think I moved this line, sorry. Let's readjust it into position again. All right. That's where we're at. So another important thing to consider here, if we break above here, this is where your attention should be. We should be paying attention to this line and where we converge, whether we converge in this area or this area, wherever it happens to be. This is going to be an important convergence point because it's very visible on the higher time frames here, on at least on the 3 hour and the 4 hour. Anything else? There might be some downwards resistance there, perhaps. So it looks like there's a lot of lines on this chart now, but what I'm trying to show you is how the macro connects down into the smaller time frames, trickles down. So if you treat this as a downward sloping support line, we're seeing some convergence here, and we're still on top of it. Well, we've just crossed on top of it. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for here. On wolfpack, it looks like the wave is coming up. We're currently on the 24-minute. We're in the midst of potentially printing this red dot. If we print that dot, then we are probably going to cross down below. If this dot disappears and vanishes, probably going to cross that. On the smaller time frames, you'll probably be able to see what's going on. So I just dropped down to the 3-minute. And on the 3-minute, I'm not really seeing too much. This upwards line here, this was our anchor and trigger wave on the 3-minute, and it ended up being converging with the peak here at our price resistance. Anything else? Let's just check. Let's just see the 5-minute. See what the 5-minute has to say. We got this really long divergence coming in. I think that's like the maximum that it can look back. We can clearly see these beautiful golden crosses printing right at the bottom here, and that would have been a really beautiful scalp. But then this divergence prints, and wow, that's really going down. That looks like this is live, folks. On the 15-second, you can really see test. We might test it here and just deflect off of it. So I'll wrap up the video after we see this. So there we go, there's the test. Do we deflect? Come on. You can do it cross up. Fingers crossed, folks. This is a pivotal point. There you go. All right. Well, as we can see here, we have our support line. We crossed under it. We retested it. It looks like that's just the 30-second, right, on the 1 minute here. We might keep trying to test it, but from here, we've got a little ways to fall if we're gonna fall. I'm still bullish, but if this is going to go down, the level it's going to go down to is either it's probably going to fall down to this swing low here as support, or probably get caught around this level, so that price is around 54.8. So we've got our micro supports here, though. These aren't strong. These aren't very strong supports. These only recently came into play. So what I'm waiting for is just to see if this ends up being a wick, because we crossed under this line and it was just a wick. We'll have to wait and see. So other than that, any questions, leave them down below. I really enjoy these videos, and by the time this video is out, we'll see what ended up happening here. So have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Join the Discord if you have any recommendations for future videos, and if you want to test out Wolfpack, I'm currently, this indicator I have, the link is in the description. I'm currently giving free trials, but not for too much longer, so subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you, guys.